Welcome to the Vault Studios NFL podcast, an Australian twist on all things NFL. The boys are cracking into a nice cold beer from Burnley Brewing. Let's join them.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. I'm your host, JA, and I am joined by none the other than the great man himself, Richie Garraway. How are you, buddy?
I'm good, mate. How are you going?
Good. You need to turn that hat around now and show that brand.
Bucks on it?
Bucks on the front. Bucks on the front. Did I get you that hat? I think I got you that hat, didn't I?
No, I got it, but I do have one that you got me.
I thought I got you a Bucks hat at one point, or maybe a jersey, maybe a T-shirt.
Definitely got that too.
Yeah, the Levante David. Didn't I pick that right back in the? That was what I got you for my wedding. You were obviously a groomsman in my wedding, and I got you a Levante David Bucks jersey. That was 6 years ago. So that was the balls. It's hard to pick NFL teams. It's hard to pick players.
Yeah, they move around a bit, so definitely a good pick.
Certainly do. What a wild week of football. It was awesome. We were non-stop on the messages all weekend.
Yeah.
Watch the games together. It probably would have been easier. But no, it was good fun. There were some great games, and we'll get to all of them a bit later on. Quickly, Burnley Brewing. It's a bit early in the day for us to be having a beer, unfortunately. We're doing a bit of a sneaky afternoon podcast recording. So, but thank you to Burnley Brewing all the same. I will be drinking several of them tonight like I do most nights. So thank you very much to Burnley Brewing, 648 Bridge Road, Richmond. Make sure you head in there if you're in the area. And also Breaking Oz Memorabilia. Absolutely love you guys. And if you want to get interested in some breaks, helmets have also got a card section called Bomb Cards, Breaking Oz Memorabilia Cards. So go and join those groups. All of them are in the description. So get in there and go and support them. Quick update, Patreon. We have a new tier. It's not associated with anyone at the moment, but how it's going to work is you sign up $10 a month like the old one, and you're going to get into a raffle, or a Raz, I like to call it. That's the fancy name for raffle. A Raz, which is only for the Patreons. So right now, I can tell you we only have 2 Patreons signed up at the moment at $10 a month. If when this ticks over on the 1st of January, that's all there is. One of those 2 are going to win this absolute beauty signed Christian McCaffrey Panthers mini helmet. Absolutely awesome lid. So if you want to get your hands on that, $10 a month, and then every single month we'll be breaking something like this. And I've set up sections. So if we get to more than 20 people, I think I put it as more than 20 Patreons, it'll go to 2 items per month. So basically how I want to keep it is you're going to have about a 1 in 12 to 1 in 15 chance of winning a signed mini helmet, jersey, and then the more we get, the better the item can be. So and any break pages or anything like that, if you want to be involved, and if you want to do something with us and help us with an item for a month, you can sponsor the segment for a month if you want to. Anyone can, for whatever company you want to be. So that's how I'm going to do it. It's going to be a month-to-month thing. If someone provides the giveaway for the month, great, they can sponsor it. If not, then we'll just keep doing it from the Vault Studio. So description again for Patreon in there. Get in there. The Raz section, $10 a month. Great chance to win that helmet at the moment. I said with only 2 of them. So get in there for the first one. Don't miss out on this awesome helmet if you're a Panthers fan. But let's get into some coaching hires, Richie. Brandon Staley hired as the Chargers coach, Chargers head coach, formerly the Rams defensive coordinator. Quick little move across the stadium for him to the Chargers facility. Look, I don't like, you know what I'm like. I don't like commenting on coaching hires because I'm not in the room with these guys. I don't like commenting on if I think they're going to be successful or not because I don't know. All I know is that this guy's moving into personnel that has some pretty good defensive players: Joey Bosa, Melvin Ingram, Derwin James. They're 3 that instantly come to mind that are all former All-Pros, former Pro Bowlers. That if they can keep Derwin James healthy, the sky's the limit for a guy like that. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, that was my first gut feeling too. I'm surprised Chargers didn't go in an offensive direction with Justin Herbert there. But you know what? At the NFL, if you've got an exceptional defense, you've still got every chance to compete. I mean, if you look at the Rams, that defense over the past 3 seasons under his leadership has been outstanding. Now they've had some very good players as well, but there's some really good players at the Chargers. So I'm really excited to see what he can do with this defense. And then what now becomes a really important hire is that offensive coordinator position. And what you're going to do with Herbert, with those other skill guys that they've got there. They've got Eckler. They've got a good receiving core. So they've got pieces there already. Obviously, we all know what that offensive line is like. That has to be fixed. But what you need to decide to do is what sort of offense are they going to run. So that offensive coordinator hire is going to be a really interesting one. But I'm excited to see what Staley can do.
Speculation is it could be LaFleur from the Green Bay Packers' younger brother, who is a Rams offensive assistant coach at the moment. I'm just trying to find his name. I can't remember his name, but yeah, that's one speculation I heard on either an NFL Network today or a podcast I was listening to. They were saying that
be a big step up for him.
Well, they're all really close. The McVay and the LaFleurs are all really close. They get along really well. That's why Green Bay beating McVay was such a big thing for LaFleur. But yeah, that's the speculation at the moment. But they're going to need someone to come in and work with Herbert. But I thought Eric Bieniemy was the key for this one. Just before we move on with Eric Bieniemy, only the Texans and the Lions jobs left. I can't see anyone wanting the Lions job. I don't know why he would take the Lions job. I think that would be a terrible move for him.
I think he's taking the Texans job.
Well, there's rumors that I guess if Deshaun Watson...
That's how you keep Deshaun Watson.
That's how they get him. Maybe that's why everyone's moving on, because I thought he was the absolute hot favourite that everyone wanted. Surely these teams could wait 3 weeks if they wanted him that badly. So it makes me think that maybe the other teams we're going to talk about as well he said to them, no, I'm not interested.
Yeah, I really feel like isn't the Eagles job still open too?
Oh, Eagles as well. Sorry, I forgot that Peterson was a late. Oh, they're interviewing Josh McDaniels.
Well, couldn't have been anything worse.
What he'll do is accept the job, then fuck you at the last minute. That's his track record.
You got to remember, you got to think about the tree. With Eric Bieniemy going, coaching. With Andy Reid. Andy Reid's got great ties to the Eagles. Like that marriage could really happen.
Yeah, definitely.
I do think he's going to end up in the Texans. They have to throw everything at him to get him to keep Deshaun Watson. They can't have Deshaun Watson leave. You can't.
No, I think I can't see him going to the Lions. No way.
No, that's a terrible job. No one wants that.
We'll see how it plays out. Moving on to the Falcons, they hire Arthur Smith for their head coach. He was formerly the Titans offensive coordinator. Look, is he going to be able to get the job done without a dominant running back that can run for 2,000 yards? That's something that helps guys, get going. Having a running game play action then works. But you can look at what he's done. I'm going to try and look at the positives with him. What he did with Ryan Tannehill was outstanding. He's a guy that no one could get to work at the Dolphins. He had a few coordinators there, which maybe that was the issue.
And head coaches. But as soon as he comes to the Titans, he found a home and found a spot that really worked for him almost instantly as soon as he started over Mariota. So that's a positive for him. Can he generate that same sort of offense in Atlanta? I hope he doesn't come in and think I'm just going to run the ball like I do with Derrick Henry, because he might not have the cattle to do that. But you look at Atlanta, they've got a strong offense, very good receiving group, a good offensive line with some young talent on it. 3 first-round picks on that offensive line, 4 actually, if you look at it. They've got Todd Gurley, who's a solid running back. He's not anything special anymore, but he can get the job done. And Matt Ryan, who's maybe just outside the top 10 of quarterbacks who can pretty much do everything you ask him to do, other than run with it a lot. So, which is good receivers.
Yeah, what they need to do is get that defense fixed, which we'll see if Quinn couldn't do it there, so we'll see if he can do it. But in terms of what he's walking into, we thought Atlanta was quite an attractive job, and I think Arthur Smith is an offensive guy. I think they've kind of made the right move here. They're bringing in someone that can really work off their strengths, and in doing that, have maybe the quickest turnaround possible. Yeah,
it'll be interesting to see. I think he's walking to one of the most talented rosters.
Agreed.
Quinn clearly his message just wasn't getting through anymore. He was cooked. He really was cooked last year. So they kind of wasted a year, the Falcons. But it'll be really interesting to see what Smith can do. It's a competitive division down there in the South. So he's certainly got his challenge ahead of him. But I think they've brought in the right type of guy to get the job done.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with you there. Let's move on to the Jaguars. And this is one, Richie, I'm going to go straight to you. You're the college man here. They hire college star college coach Urban Meyer. Again, straight to you, mate. What's your thoughts on this one?
I was shocked when I'd even heard that he was even interested in this job, let alone taking it. I thought it was just going to be, Urban's trying to get another pay bump from Fox Sports. But clearly not. He clearly wanted to challenge himself and do this. Now, his history goes all the way back to head coach Alex Smith and the Utah Utes. He really made Alex Smith's career and get him as that high draft pick. He brought the spread. He then took it down to Florida. He won a couple of national championships. Tim Tebow and Cam Newton was on that team. And let's not forget Hernandez was on that team as well. A couple of other questionable characters, let's say, on those Florida national championship teams, all hidden under the umbrella of Tim Tebow and his godness. But he left that job because of stresses in his health, and he couldn't handle it. He took a couple of years out, came back, Ohio State, wins another national championship. Once again, though, struggles with his health and steps away from the game. Now, he's been out for 2 years. When he went to Ohio State, I remember saying to my dad, I'm like, lock it in. He will win a title inside his tenure there. He's that good a recruiter and clearly that good an offensive mind. And what he really brought to the game with that spread offense, read option, those sorts of things, and challenging the field horizontally as well as vertically. It's now everywhere in college football. Turn it on, and almost everybody is running these sorts of offenses. And then being out of the game for a couple of years, I kind of thought he was done. Whenever he's out of the game, he's always talking about spending time with his family and all these other things, and his health is better and all the rest of it. Well, it's going to be challenged. Like, this job's full of stresses. So I don't think a college coach has come to the NFL with this much success in college since probably your boy Johnson when he left the Miami Hurricanes to come to the Dallas Cowboys. It's that kind of success, probably even more.
Because Saban went, didn't he? Saban burnt out in the NFL with the Dolphins because he didn't sign Drew Brees, and then he went back and had success.
Yeah, so he'd won the one national title with LSU, came out and went back. Maybe Pete Carroll, but he was an NFL coach who just went to college for a few years and had remarkable success at USC. But he was an NFL coach. That was his background and history before he went to college. So he's kind of the reverse. I'm excited. I'm really looking forward to what's going to happen. I don't know if it's going to be a success or if it's going to flame out, and I'm not even going to take a guess at what's going to happen. But what I will say is watch this space. It's going to be really interesting.
And he's going to have Trevor Lawrence to work with, one of the most exciting quarterbacks. Yeah. I feel like every year we have guys like this, but we've been talking about Trevor Lawrence for a few years now. I haven't seen this sort of hype since kind of Andrew Luck.
He won a national title as a freshman. Let's not forget who this kid is.
Yeah, this guy's got a ton of hype around him and well-deserved. He looks pretty talented. Last team, Jets hire 49ers DC, Robert Saleh as head coach. I personally love this move. I love Robert Saleh. I love what he's done for the Niners. I love his passion, his energy. I feel like they show him more on the sideline than they show anyone else at 49ers games. So I really enjoy him. I think this is going to give them a strong head coach, one that I don't think he's – I said, don't know him personally, but from what I've seen and, the speculation about him is that he doesn't take crap. And I think that's what this team needs, a guy that's going to come in and be in control.
Yeah, I'd certainly agree with that. It's exciting. It's a couple of D coordinators get hired in this.
It is.
In this roundabout. Normally, it's all offensive coaches. Now, so far, there hadn't been a minority hire yet. Good to see one here. I think we looked it up.
Ever.
Yeah, of Lebanese background.
Yep.
I'm really excited for him. I think this is a really good hire for the Jets. As you said, a guy who's just going to come in, no nonsense. You're at a professional football team, act like it, play like it, bit of fire and brimstone. There needs to be substance behind it. You can't be all icing. You've got to have some cake. But I think he's going to bring that. If I'm a Jets fan, I'll be excited about this hire. I'll be really looking forward to it. He's going to build a good defense. 49ers defense, whilst, yes, talented, he certainly got the most out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And even when it was going down in flames middle of the year, he was still managing they were performing quite well until they really started running out of dudes.
Yeah.
But if I'm a Jets fan, I'd be really happy with this hire.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a great move. I enjoy it. Guys like Williams on the D line, Quinn Williams is going to get a lot out of this, and I just have a feeling that they're going to keep Darnold. I don't think Robert Saleh is the kind of coach that's going to come in and go, no, I need that. I need Justin Wilson.
What are you going to replace him with?
Yeah, well, the talk is they're going to take Wilson out of BYU or.
There is not enough talent in that building to burn first-round picks on a quarterback when you don't even know if you've got a good one.
Yeah, I would trade out and give Darnold one more year. 100%. I think it's worth it.
And if he's no good, you're going to suck next year anyway. You'll have a top 5 pick. Grab it then. You got it. I loved him coming out of college. He could be the guy. You need to find out.
Yeah, unless you can get Lawrence, I don't think any team should be throwing away quarterbacks. I feel the same about Denver. I think Denver should take a guy in the second round or something like that.
Oh, I don't. No. They got to get one.
Try and get into a top 3 spot to try and get one of these quarterbacks.
I think they have to get one.
Yeah, okay.
They have to fix this problem. It's been going on since Noodle Arm.
Which Brock Osweiler or Peyton Manning? Which one?
Both.
I love how Michael Lombardi calls Brock Osweiler the heist.
Yeah,
it's the greatest nickname in there.
He got paid. Good on him.
Good on him. No, the biggest heist ever was Matt Flynn. Remember when he ended that season with Grant through
5
7
touchdowns?
No, 7. He tied the record, and then got the big contract from the Seahawks. And then Pete Carroll. Why did we hire this guy and gave the job to Russell Wilson straight up? Very funny. That's all the coaching stuff. Obviously, Lions, Texans, and Eagles are still looking for coaches. So, look, if you're those teams, look for updates pretty soon. I'd say I don't know why the Lions are waiting. I think they're probably waiting for someone who wants to do it.
Everyone's probably said no.
Everyone's saying, I'll wait and see if I get the other 2 first, and then you can be our consolation prize if the money's good enough. But I think the Texans and the Eagles might be holding out for Eric Bieniemy. But I've also heard that Josh McDaniels is right open. But after seeing what he couldn't do with Tom Brady this year, I'd be very, very, very wary. And the fact that he's a total sack of shit because he took a job and then quit on them. So, I don't know. And people who say, oh, you wouldn't say it to his face. Yes, I would. That was a sack of shit move. 100%. Yeah. I'll never forgive that. He might be a good guy, but I'll never forgive that move. Forgive, never forget. Sorry, Rich. That's probably the right term. Let's move on to the games this week. Wild divisional round. We had the Rams and the Packers going at it first. First thing Sunday morning, Packers walk away with the win, 32-18. Kind of what we predicted, Richie. The Rams made it difficult at times for the Packers. The Packers never really seemed to get out of second or third gear, though, for me. I'm just watching it. I never felt worried that they were going to lose. They were kind of in complete control the whole time. Jared Goff was good. He was efficient. He certainly didn't throw the ball downfield enough for my liking, but, it was cold and all that sort of stuff. But what it came down to was the bottom line is that Rodgers was way better, and the running attack of the Green Bay Packers kind of drained the clock and kept them in the lead the whole time.
Yeah, as you said, Aaron Jones was really good. Only 14 carries for his 100 yards. That's ripping off at 7 a clip. So, that's a pretty good day. So it's it was an interesting game. It just kind of plodded along. If you go and look at the scorebox, if you watch the game, it just, Green Bay gets up one going into halftime, and then they just kind of controlled it. Like it didn't. It didn't feel.
First 4 possessions. That was the difference. They went 4:46 off the clock for a field goal. Then the Rams went 4 minutes off the clock for a field goal.
Tied up. Yep.
Tied up, and then basically the first quarter ended with Green Bay Packers going on a 14-play, 8-minute drive, which also took up a big chunk of the second quarter. They scored a touchdown, then the Rams punted straight away, and then Green Bay took the ball and went on a 5-minute drive for another touchdown. Then the Rams, to their credit, fought back on that drive. They just kept dumping it underneath the whole time and just kept taking the 5 and outs, taking the 7 and outs, like just grinding it, and got a touchdown. And then Green Bay scored a field goal just as halftime kind of ended, it hit halftime, and then scored a touchdown on the opening drive in the second half. And that was kind of it. It was like the Rams scored a touchdown near the end of the third quarter, but then Green Bay iced it in the last quarter with kind of 3 minutes left. I don't know. I just never felt. Plus, you've also got to put into account Alan Lazard, who had a great long touchdown at the end of the game to ice it, dropped a touchdown catch.
Yeah.
Devontae Adams dropped a touchdown catch, which is totally unlike him. And the tight end, the two receivers in the very first drive, the field goal drive, two guys dropped touchdown catches on that in the red zone. Like two in a row, dropped touchdown catches. So I think Green Bay just kind of never got out of first gear. When the Rams brought it back a little bit, they then turned it up a notch and were able to run over the top of them. The big story in this for me was Aaron Donald. He wasn't right. He was obviously not healthy. Got very frustrated at one point and gave away a 15-yard penalty. He was going against that Elgin Jenkins for a lot of the game, who is turned into a really, really good interior lineman. Absolutely outstanding guard at the moment, one of the best in the league. So he really frustrated him and gave him, obviously not at 100%, gave him a hard time. He didn't play a ton of snaps. And I think that kind of showed up. Jalen Ramsey got beat on the touchdown pass with Devonta Adams. They motioned him across to the left and then brought him on what looked like was going to be like a speed to the right, but then didn't give it to him and then just threw the ball straight to Adams. And Jalen Ramsey got caught up with his linebackers. He went over the top of his linebackers to try and chase it instead of going underneath. And then, as Jalen Ramsey does, turned and started yelling at his own teammates because, of course, it's not his fault. If I was chasing someone, I'd take the shortest route to chase them. Now, that's something I've learned as being a slow person, Richie, is that when you're chasing someone, you cut angles real hard because you can't keep up with anyone. So just all in all, it wasn't the Rams' day. But I think if you look at the Rams' season as a whole, you'd probably take this if you're a Rams fan, because they had a lot of turnover last year. You saw some guys come back and show something. I think that defense is something they can build on. Obviously, losing the coordinator doesn't help. But I think the big discussion now, and everyone's talking about, is what do they do in the offseason with Jared Goff, because it's a contract that you cannot move, and it's clearly a relationship that, if you look at the last few weeks, it's something that Sean McVay is not comfortable with. The fact that he benched him last week when he was healthy enough to play, all signs are leading to Jared Goff being on the outer at the Rams. Just quickly before we move on, what do you do if you're McVay? Do you move on from him?
You can't. You got the contract. It's too big.
Unless someone wants it in a trade.
And who's going to take that on? There's only a handful of teams would even have the cap room to make that signing. This is all the head office's fault. They have to eat it next year. Sorry, Rams, you have no choice. Because if you cut him, you got to take the entire whack anyway. So he may as well be there. Yeah, you may as well have him. So next year,
if you cut him, it's more of a hit. So exactly. I think he can be successful, though. I think they just got to build a little bit more around him, improve the O-line a little bit, get the running game going again, and go back to what you used to have with Gurley. Maybe take the best running back in the draft. Even if that's the back of the first round, if you feel that's where it's got to be, do it.
They've got a good running back at their pick, for sure. Yeah.
Just take something to try and get that running game going again. Linemen, and then the defense is fine. You've got Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey's a star. I know I've ragged on him before, but he's a bona fide star in the league. They've got Johnson, the safety. Troy Hill really came on this year. They've got plenty of good players on that defense to think that it'll be a good defense again next year. Just try and build that running game to take the pressure off Jared Goff. I think if you can do that, they can be right back they can be right back in it next year.
100%. Like, just a reminder for everybody. His 2021 cap hit, if you cut him, is $65 million. If he plays for you, it's $35 million. That's why he will be there. You can't pay $30 million over the odds for a guy who isn't there.
No way.
Just can't. Now, the following year, it's 32 of cash and 30 of cap hit. So if you want to absolutely eat it in 2022, that's the year you can do it. But you cannot do it next year. Goff will 100% be at the Rams unless he is traded out. And I don't know who would trade for that contract.
I wouldn't. I'm any other team. It's something I wouldn't take a chance on, no matter how desperate you are.
No.
Let's move on. Maybe they give up a first-round pick to ship him off, but they've got none left because they traded them all for Jalen Ramsey.
Exactly. They don't even have any...
have one,
obviously
on their first back. I think they might have one this year.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean,
I remember.
as we always say, salaries don't have to match or anything like that. So you could package up a bunch of first rounders begging somebody to take it off you, but it would have to be a team that has the cap space.
Yeah, 100%. Which
and the cap's coming down this year. Everybody coming down.
100% it is. Let's move on to the second game. Ravens at the Bills. Ravens 3, Bills 17. I just want to
disappointing game.
The weather just destroyed this game. It was dreadful.
So windy, yeah.
Anyone telling me that Josh Allen was good in this game can go jump. He was dreadful. He was just as bad as Lamar Jackson. He just didn't have the terrible turnover. He only scored 10 points in this game. So he had 2 good drives. I think the 3 points came off a turnover as well. And then the other touchdown was from a 101-yard interception return. So I'm not ragging on. I think Josh Allen's a great player, and I think the weather affected both these guys. But what I'm not going to hear is...
It affected the kickers.
Yeah.
How many missed field goals? It was like 5.
Put it this way. If Justin Tucker doesn't miss those 2 field goals in the first quarter, he missed 2 of his 3. It's 9-10 when they're driving down that field. If Lamar Jackson, they can check. I guarantee you the play calls differently if they don't need a touchdown there.
It was
so they can take a field goal and take the lead.
It was so disappointing.
Yeah, it was just a bad game.
In this game.
The weather destroyed it. And it was one of those one times I was like, God, I wish they were playing in a dome or something. I wish they didn't have outdoor games. I know it's part of football, but the defenses weren't overly good in this game. The quarterbacks couldn't do anything. There were guys open, plenty of guys open. But what I'm not buying is the bullshit feedback that Lamar Jackson can't win. I'm sorry, Josh Allen didn't win this game either. None of them did because of the weather. So I'm not going to put it on him.
And Lamar Jackson didn't even get to finish the game. Who knows what he might have done?
Exactly. He gets taken out with concussion in the third quarter. We saw what he did last week with a chance to come back and win against the Titans, and he did a great job in the last quarter. So the great thing, both defenses stopped the run really well in this game, and the game got away from the Ravens. So quickly on the Bills, we've talked about them a lot the last few weeks. I think they're a really good team going to Kansas City. It won't be as cold in Kansas City next week. That offense should be able to get going. But yeah, again, we tend to talk more about the teams that lost because they're leaving, but Bills fans, enjoy this. This is awesome. Going to an AFC Championship game. Sean McDermott, what a great hiring, great turnaround. They took a chance on Josh Allen that I definitely wouldn't have. We were saying, if we were sitting here 2 years ago talking about Josh Allen, we were saying, no, he's no good. Even last year when they had that horrible loss to the Texans, we were saying that he's no good. So the fact that they've turned him around, he's a MVP candidate. He won't get it this year, but he's had a great year and he's got a great career in front of him. So well done to the Bills. Enjoy it, Bills fans, especially our man Hoffy. Enjoy this, guys, and enjoy the championship game. As for the Ravens, I had our man Jer all doom and gloom. I don't know what you're doom and gloom about, Jer. You guys have a great team. I don't know why anyone would be getting off Lamar Jackson. He's done nothing to make me think he can't be a successful quarterback in this league. Everyone's saying, oh, you have to have a guy that can throw from the pocket. Not true. Focus on what this guy can do. We don't talk about Aaron Rodgers and go, oh, he can't scramble for a 50-yard touchdown. Aaron Rodgers is throwing the ball. Lamar Jackson has limitations like every single quarterback in this league. Go and watch Tom Brady during the year. I'm telling you, he's not mobile anymore. So that limitation, it's unfair to go to Lamar Jackson and go, he's limited because he's not as accurate throwing it down the field when they force him to stay in a pocket. I'm telling you, in Russell Wilson's third year, neither was he. So give it time. He's 24 years old. 23.
He's younger than Joe Burrow.
Yeah. He's younger than Joe Burrow. Just let that sink in. Do not worry. He's 24 years old. So do not worry about it. Enjoy him, enjoy the ride, because you guys are going to be right back in this next year. I guarantee it. You're not going anywhere. Defense is strong. Got a great head coach. You're going to be just fine. You're not going to lose any players. I think this team's got a long future ahead of it. A very good one. Marquise Brown finally getting going down the stretch in the playoffs. Played very well the last 2 games against good teams. That's something that they need to build on. Maybe bring in another wide receiver. I love Des Bryant, but Des Bryant can't be running around on your football field next year. He's not an NFL wide receiver anymore.
No.
He can go play for the Jaguars or someone that's crap. If you want to be a contender, bring some guys in. So I'm not worried about the Ravens. They could have easily won this game and they could easily compete for it again next year. So strap yourselves in, Ravens fans, in my opinion. Richie, by your nods, I'm intending you're agreeing with me on my monologue.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of said it all. If I was the Ravens, I'd be like, all right, cool. Let's
Run it back.
get a draft class together, sign a couple of free agents, and let's go again.
They've already
got a young quarterback. You're set. Young, talented quarterback. You're
and
good.
Running backs, Gus Edwards and Dobbins, rookie player. They've released Mark Ingram, which just props to the Ravens. Mark Ingram said, look, obviously there's not a role for me next year here. They cut him early so we can get started on free agency. It was actually a mutual thing. So that's why Mark Ingram's walked away going, Ravens are a terrific organization. Thanks for everything. Loved my ride. Appreciate. That's what you want. The Ravens rarely end a relationship with God. The Ravens are pieces of crap, do they? You just never get that coming out of there. So good organization. I think they'll be fine next year. So get ready, Ravens. Let's move on. Browns and Chiefs. Browns 17, Chiefs 22. Rich, this was a roller coaster for us.
What a barn burner.
We just all of Monday was a roller coaster for us because we were just all over these teams. The Chiefs roll out to an early lead and literally I messaged you going, oh, they're in real trouble here.
They went straight down the field and punched it in. I think I messaged you first. I'm like, oh, dear.
Yeah. And when Baker threw the interception and then we were basically like, it was only in the third quarter. We were like, this is done. This is absolutely done. And then the field goal, they missed the field goal, the Chiefs, after the interception. I said, all right, there's a chance. Can they go and score? So they drive down the field and Higgins, who gets just a terrific pass from Baker Mayfield and decides, I'm going to fumble this over the goal line. And you know what? You know what I'm sick to death of? Everyone, when this happens, coming in and going, oh, what a dumb rule. The offense should get the ball back. No, the offense shouldn't. You shouldn't fumble.
That's been the rule since the dawn of football.
It's
always been that way.
If you fumble, put it this way, guys. The boundary line in the end zone is a defensive player. If it goes out of there, they have recovered it. That's the rule. It is a recovery. If the offense can't stop it going out, like on the field of play, if it goes out of bounds, that's an offensive player. If the boundary line can recover it, but not in the end zone, that's the other team's area, and it's the rule. Just get over it. It's not a bad rule. Do you know what else bad? The fucking play. Don't dive the ball over and fumble. It's simple. Take a first and goal.
Do you think it was a personal foul, the hit?
On the guy?
Yeah.
Well, he lowered his helmet. But who knows?
Helmet to helmet.
Yeah, who knows in this league? They don't call anything.
What blows my mind is there were some other ones that were called this week, and then that one got let go, and I'm like, that's the one you need to call.
Yeah, it was a pretty low hit, it was targeting that is the epitome of the rule. But in the moment, he was just trying to stop him scoring. Bang bang play. You know what I feel about them, Rich? I don't like any of those calls. Like, my opinion is you wear a helmet for a freaking reason. Use it. Now, our local leagues haven't quite got the grasp of that yet, so I enjoy it. But they're protected. They're fine. I get it on the quarterback, but if you're a runner, I think unless it's in your back or something like that, like the defenseless receiver rule I like when they catch it not looking and they get speared in the head. I don't like that stuff. But if you're actively running at each other, I think anyone's game. The receiver could have gone down. He probably should have. But Higgins will be eating that up. They then, from there, you think, oh, this is over. The Browns are going to crumble. But to their absolute credit, Rich, second half rolls and they come storming home. Touchdown on the opening drive. Then Mahomes goes out injured with a concussion. Everyone's calling that a cheap shot too. I didn't really think it was that bad. Mahomes was a runner. He tried to get we weren't feeling bad for the bloody 49ers the Rams backup quarterback last week when Jamal Adams absolutely annihilated him on that run. If a quarterback's going to become a rusher, you got to eat it when you get drilled. Now, Mahomes is fine. All reports are he'll play next week, which is the biggest worry.
He's still in the protocol.
Apparently,
he's not out yet.
Apparently, a ton of reporters have spoken to the Chiefs, and they've also again, it could just be smoke and mirror. We don't know, but he's in the protocol. But yeah, the way the Rams fought back, and then the cojones on Andy Reid. So, first of all,
do you want to read out our text message while that was happening?
Yeah, I've got it right here. Actually, let me get it up. Man, you know what I'm realizing? I just read a message from you. I think Breeze needs to retire. I love him. He's a Hall of Famer, but it's over. The fucking game ended. You were already off him. That was at half time. You were already casting Drew Brees to
I
retirement.
said he was a Hall of Famer.
Almost won. Let me just see. A lot of refs are screwing the Bucks. Man, I was all over the Bucks, obviously. Okay. So I said, fuck, that is bad defense when they let Chad Henne run for all, what was it, 17 yards? Long? Like,
So
shit, man. So he runs with it. They let him get, I actually think he got the first down. They were lucky with the spot. And
No, I don't think so.
I don't think it was so bad. It was so close. I could if they called it a first down, I don't think you could have overturned it either way. So they got lucky that the ref called it that in the first place. And then on 4th and inches, everyone is thinking, oh, they're just lining up to try and draw them offside or something. They don't. They catch Tyreek Hill. They motion the running back in, which gives away that it's man coverage. And then Tyreek Hill runs this out route, which is almost unstoppable when he runs it in man coverage. A little shuttle out, barely went a yard upfield, just turned, caught it, went down, first down. But the ball's on Andy Reid to call that play. I imagine it was an option. It was, if they stack the box, check if it's man coverage. So put the running back in, check if it's man coverage. If the box is stacked, don't run it. If it's man coverage, run that little out route. If not, take the delay game and we'll punt it. If you don't think it's there, we'll punt it. It was there. But awesome.
It was like you said in the message, like, do you go for it here? And I think I wrote back a hundo.
Go for it, end the game. And then the next message was, that's the ball game.
Look, Andy Reid has now Super Bowl collateral. So if it didn't work, he wouldn't have got buried for it. No. So in inexperienced coach, he got destroyed.
They might not have lost either.
Exactly.
So,
exactly. But let's not forget the two scoring drives that the Browns put together, especially in the third quarter, they were like 75 and 77 yards each.
Mm-hmm.
Super impressive. Now, admittedly, Mahomes wasn't there at the end. Not at the end. Sorry, it was even earlier than that. So who knows how it would have washed out if he was there.
Mahomes probably puts another touchdown on.
This, for mine, this was, I'm not going to say it was a great game of football, but it was a great football game. It was so much was happening.
It was enjoyable.
It really was. And the Browns fans everywhere, hey, enjoy it. Your team was great this year. As I feel like I've said it 1,000 times. Your front office is set. Your coaching staff is set. You've done a great job. They know how to get the most out of Baker.
Get rid of Odell.
Yeah, 100%. Get rid of Odell. You don't need him. People like Peoples-Jones and Higgins, I mean, that's fine. Yeah, you got two amazing backs and a really good O-line. I think the Browns are going to be good for a while. Once again, it's a competitive division, but if I was a Browns fan...
7 teams now, though,
enjoy.
Exactly. If I'm picking playoffs right now next year, I cannot leave the Browns off my top 7.
No, me either. They're in. Remember, you have to find half the teams have got to go out. So you got to find those teams. But I'll have the Browns in for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
They're on the way up. They're young.
Yeah, they're ascending for sure. Very young. O-line, terrific. O-line and D-line. O-line. What do we always say, Rich? Build from the inside out. That's what they've finally done. We bragged on them for years. Build the O-line. Maybe Saddle can go and learn a few things, what to do in the first round. Let's talk Buccaneers, mate. This was. I was rooting real hard for the Bucs in this game. I love this.
Me too.
It was a terrific game of football, though. One of the best of the weekend. Drew Brees flooded a bit at the end, but what I want to quickly talk about before we go to the Saints, because obviously we want to talk strongly about the Saints. There's 2 things I want to talk about. You talk about the Bucs, right? Obviously, they're being very good in free agency. You know, Brady, obviously, Shaq Barrett, who they got, no one wanted, and they went and got. Jason Pierre-Paul, no one wanted, went and got. And
they all cost us nothing.
Leonard Fournette, no one wanted. And Antonio Brown, no one wanted for a reason. I'm not going to give him credit for no one wanting because he may still be a piece of shit. We're not sure. I'm going to let it go to mental health stuff at the moment because when he was in Pittsburgh, he never had these issues and had this massive blow up for a year and then he seemed to settle down again. So maybe he was having a rough trot. I'll give him benefit of the doubt there. Fool me once sort of thing. But then you look at the draft, right? Devin White, this is the last 3 years. Devon White, Tristan Wirfs, Winfield, Murphy Bunting, who, just putting it out there, held Michael Thomas to 0 catches in this game.
Yeah, he's a pretty good player.
Carlton Davis, Jamil Dean, all starters, all picks in the last 3 years. You pair that with what they already had with Levante David, and I'm probably missing a few, but this is just, it's a masterclass in building an organization. And the cherry on top this week was a guy who I go hard for all the time, Devon White. The way he played in this game, there are not many linebackers that can move like him.
Or go with Kamara like that.
Yeah, cover, hit, do everything like he does. He was outstanding. I think he had 11 tackles, a fumble recovery, and an interception. The interception was pretty much the icing on the game. They then went and scored the touchdown straight after it. Yeah. But all in all, just outstanding. Obviously, Murphy Bunting, I mentioned, had the big interception while covering Michael Thomas, who took it back to the 1 yard line, and they scored. All these guys just contributing. You go into the Saints. They'd lost them twice this year. I said I wanted the Bucks because I just don't. It's so hard to beat a team 3 times, and it proved it. And let's now roll into the Saints. I think this has to be it for Drew Brees.
100%. He said in the game afterwards, I'm going to take some time to evaluate and make my decision, which is fine.
He was there until 11 o'clock at night throwing passes to his kids on the field.
Yeah. Yeah, Tom Brady went out with him.
I know. That was a pretty cool moment.
It was a cool moment. And that's the kind of stuff, that's what you love. That's what I love about the NFL as well, or just football in general.
Yeah.
But, look, I think he's done it all, Drew Brees. He really has. He's got tons of passing records. He's won a Super Bowl. He's had playoff success. I know the last 3 years have been really lean for him, but gee whiz, they had some weird shit happen to them in the last few years. They got a horrendous...
In a Super Bowl. They should have played in a Super Bowl. That was the year that I called it wasn't called will forever. He's won one, which is so it's not as bad. But imagine if Drew Brees never won a Super Bowl and that got taken away from him that moment, because he was playing great then. That was when he was kind of at the back end of his good days.
So I'm glad for that. But I actually think, what the hell's going on with Michael Thomas? I mean,
he's a
this guy was the best receiver in the league a year ago, and now you struggle to find somebody to give him. His attitude stinks.
That's the problem. It's like he got paid. He became a prima donna. You never heard from him before that. You know the only way you heard from him before that was him catching freaking balls. That's the only. It was like, God, Michael Thomas scored another 10 catches. But now you've got the fight in the preseason with the guy punches his own teammate. Everyone's calling him slant boy now, and it just clearly gets under his skin straight away.
Yeah,
constantly brings up that he was like the 7th receiver drafted. Mate, I'm telling you, the teams all regret it too. You don't need to keep fucking bringing it up all the time. Do you know who he reminds me of, whose career died off very quickly, largely because of it? Maurice Jones-Drew. Remember Maurice Jones-Drew could never get over the fact that 6 running backs went in front of him, and he carried on about it his whole career, and was, to be quite frank, a bit of a pain in the ass for the organization. And in the end, as soon as he dropped off a little bit, they were like, yeah, mate, you're not worth it anymore. Sorry, your production's not worth putting up with you. If they're going to get this crap, we know that Sean Payton can pretty much get any receiver open if he wants to. Like, they didn't miss a beat when Michael Thomas didn't play, really. They had Taysom Hill and no Michael Thomas for a few games and were still winning. So if they want to move on from him, they can. I don't think they will, but you're right. He just needs to be very careful, because this is the NFL. They don't care. They will find the next one.
They'll find the next one that'll give them 80% of the same thing for 80% less money, and they'll be okay. I got one question. My last question about the Saints.
Yep.
Who's the starting quarterback next year?
Matthew Stafford. That's what I want.
We've got him on like 10 teams next
year.
Who
I want or who I think?
Who do you think will start for them next year?
I think it'll be Taysom Hill.
Oh, they're fucked if they do. Oh, sorry. I know he stopped swearing. They have.
Swear away. Did you see people saying that could have been a different game if Taysom Hill played? Oh, look, I like Taysom Hill and what they do with him, but they got a bloody touchdown to have Jameis Winston in this game with a gadget play. That just would have been Taysom Hill.
On Taysom Hill,
yeah,
they would have lost by more.
Yeah,
he's not a good quarterback.
No, I
because
agree.
he hasn't played quarterback regularly since college, and everyone thinks he's young. He's not young. He's
Oh,
old.
he's 30s.
Exactly. So
It was a
this
late
guy
draft.
hasn't played quarterback consistently in probably 6-7 years. So stop it with that stuff.
Do you know what though? I kind of want to see it because it could define Sean Payton's career.
As a Buccaneers fan,
turn
I
around.
pray he's the starter next year because we'll walk through the division.
I don't know. I kind of want to see it, Rich.
I hope they do because he is not an NFL quarterback.
If anything, it'd be interesting. It'd be intriguing. It'd be a great offseason. Imagine if we get an offseason Jameis Winston versus Taysom Hill for the starting quarterback. A former 5,000-yard passer in the NFL versus a guy who's been a gadget player for the last 4 years. I don't know. It'd make it fun. Make it fun.
Why did you cherry pick the good stat? Why didn't you say 33 turnovers in 15 games?
No, because the good stats are touchdowns, Rich. 30 to 30 Winston. I know. Do you know that play that that Winston threw the touchdown on? Do you know that was the exact play that the Bears ran last week against them and Wims dropped the touchdown pass in the end zone?
Oh, really?
Sean Payton is just a savage prick.
He's sneaky.
I don't know which commentator it was on this game, but he literally said, I can guarantee you Sean Payton is doing that to be a smart ass as well. It was Steve Smith, sorry. Steve Smith on NFL Network was like, I can promise you, he dialed that play going, wait till Chicago see our guy catch it. It was.
Yeah, let's see how it's run properly.
Yeah, funnily enough, it wasn't Michael Thomas that caught it, slant boy. He couldn't run it out enough, so they didn't know what to do. He's like, Michael, you've got to run it. It's a slant and up. And he's like, slant. He's like, no, slant and up, you'll score. He's like, I run
slant, catch it, and up. Got it.
And I run once I catch it. He's like, no, slant up. He's like, we'll just give it a Drake on. Okay, don't worry. You just run. You go on the other side of the field. Slam. We shouldn't be so mean. The guy broke the record for receptions a year ago. Something's up. He needs to shut up.
Slants.
Yeah, it's a lot of slants. That's it though. That's it for the show, guys. Awesome week of football. And then obviously we'll be doing the preview show again this week. Richie, I'm just going to say it's going to be you because no one else ever does it. So look for that. We did the pre-recording last week, Rich, and it went really well. I did the premiere, live. So, and then I was able to sit there and watch it live and then comment as people commented, which was actually, I felt it was a lot more interactive. So anyone who watched that, which there was a fair few, let me know if you enjoyed it because it's something I can start. I'm happy to do it for the NFL podcast as well next season. So it was actually a really good concept. And I was able to focus on people chatting live instead of it being, because when we normally go live on Facebook, it's 30 seconds delayed and we're coming back to answer questions. So I might do that again for this week. But Richie, we'll be doing the preview show later in the week. Again, thinking about good friends, Breaking Oz Memorabilia and Burnley Brewing. All their stuff's below, guys, in the description. If you're watching on YouTube or if you're on the podcast, go in, give them a follow on Facebook, join the group if you want to start collecting. And if you want to get some good beer, I guarantee you should go to Burnley Brewing because it's pretty much all they produce. And they've got a wide variety. Anything you can imagine, it's there. Also, last time, Patreon, this exact CMC helmet. Soon as February hits, guys, if you're signed up for that and you pay your $10 a month, you're a chance to win it. So, and this is just for everyone. I've got a few questions. This isn't going into a break. Only the patrons get a chance to win it. So if there's 10 of you, you got a 1 in 10 chance. If there's 5 of you, 1 in 5 chance. Said if it goes up to more, I'll either up what we're doing, maybe go to a full-size helmet, or I'll give away a couple. I'm going to make it worth your while. So get in there for $10 a month. I don't think you'll find a better deal. And also, it does go a long way in helping the studio keep going and survive and pay the subscription and all that sort of stuff and allow myself, Richie, Jules, DJ, Corey, and Lewis to keep producing the content we produce. So if you enjoy it, it goes a long way to helping us. And thank you to our current patrons, including our $5 a month patrons. Appreciate you guys a lot too. But that's it from us. Richie, I will see you later in the week for the preview show. Only the 2 games to preview this week, so it should be a quick one. But thanks for being here, mate, and talk to you later on.
Looking forward to it.